Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Kayla, I'm a writer. I currently have one poetry collection published, and I'm working on the fourth draft of the first book in my high fantasy pirate portal duology called Between the Waves. And my intention with Between the Waves is to self-publish it. It was a book that I went back and forth with a lot, so now that I've made the decision to self-publish it, I realized that I have a ton of stuff to learn, and I just needed to put together some sort of organized document that had a list of everything that I needed to do in order to successfully self-publish this. I think I'm setting up this checklist fairly early, maybe not that early. It could definitely be earlier, but I'm just doing it now, even though I haven't even announced a date to release the book, and I actually don't know when I'm going to, but I'm doing it now just because a lot of the self-publishing process is unknown to me. I need to learn, and I need to therefore give myself the time and the space to actually learn the skills that I need in order to self-publish. This list is absolutely not exhaustive. This will probably get added to multiple times, especially over the next few months as I do more learning myself. So I imagine in the future there will be a video of an updated version of this list, or after I actually self-publish, I will make an updated version so that I can see what I actually needed, what made sense, what didn't, what got moved, what got added. The idea was to just make a rough list of things that I thought I was going to need to do so that I could start to do those things and learn. I mean, I imagine that this whole process is going to be a roller coaster from start to finish anyways, and I think it's going to be rocky when I self-publish my first novel. But the goal right now is to just kind of try to front load a bunch of the learning and a bunch of that work so that when I get to 2 months before release or 1 month before release, I'm less stressed about all of these things that I don't know, and I can just be stressed about the fact that the book's releasing in 1 to 2 months. So that's the goal. So I've mentioned before, I love using Notion. I am by no means an expert at it. I've seen so many incredible layouts on Notion. Mine are not that. I prefer the simplicity, and I also get overwhelmed if it's too much. So I did make myself a little cover. It's basically a collection of things that inspire me, photos I've taken, books that have inspired me, the poetry collection that I published, and the duology that I intend on self-publishing. So I wanted to just have that there as some inspiration. And I also put the little quote, "Somebody out there is going to fall in love with your story." I feel that's just something that I remind myself sometimes when I'm feeling the imposter syndrome and really nervous about self-publishing my book. I'm there's got to be at least one person who's going to enjoy it, one person who really needs to hear something in your story, one person that's going to connect with the characters. It's going to be worth it for that one person, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I put that there just as a little reminder because publishing things make me anxious. So initially, this was basically a big list of things that I had thought of and added to my self-publishing checklist. And now we've made it into an official checklist. I mean, right now it's kind of just a bullet point list, but it will become an actual checklist, and this is the rough draft of that. So first I have a section called the foundation before publishing, and these are basically just all the things that I need to make sure are completely done before I can even publish a book. And I know it seems like a funny thing to include some of the stuff on this list, but genuinely, that's also kind of there as a reminder. For example, the first bullet point is finish the book. And that's because sometimes I feel I can get very swept up in what's going to need to happen down the road and the next steps, and I can get very overwhelmed with all of that. So even looking at this checklist, at least the first thing I see is you just need to finish the damn book, and that's the most important part. You can't publish anything if it's not done. So yeah, the first section is the foundation before publishing, everything that I actually need before starting the publishing process. So that includes finish the book. And that bullet point is all inclusive. That includes all of the developmental edits. I have a timeline for myself that I'm not sharing really yet. I think I shared it on my Patreon, but I'm not sharing until it's more confirmed. So finish the book just includes all of the developmental edits that are left, basically any structural things that need to be done. Then we have line edits and copy edits. These are steps that I still kind of need to look into as well, because basically they need to be done, obviously, and I'm gonna give both of these things a pass myself because I also want to learn how to do that. But I'm actually just not sure how much they're going to cost at this point because I don't know who I'm going to get to do them and what that kind of situation is going to be. And then I have sensitivity reader and proofreading. I also wanted to list this foundational list because these are things that are going to play heavily into the timeline for when I can actually publish this book, because all of these things need to be done. And I think the way that I've kind of made the timeline right now is I've gone and said okay, if I want to publish on this date, then how much time before I publish should the proofread be done? Because that's generally the last step. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it should be done like a month before. Okay, so a month back from the goal date, proofread should be done. Copy edits, when do I want those to be done? I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks before it needs to go to the proofreader. Okay, so I'll like shift the timeline back. These things obviously need to be done, and this is what I've used to make my tentative timeline for Between the Waves. So moving on, the next two sections are the tasks that have to do with actually publishing. So the act of publishing and kind of everything that goes along with that. So once you have the final manuscript, it's done, you have a stack of papers that's ready to go. These are all of the things that I'm gonna need to do. So you can see that I have a list called absolutely necessary. These are things that I can't really publish without. And then I have a list down here that says potential but not necessary. Please keep in mind that I'm new. Some of these things actually might be quite necessary, and also some of the things in absolutely necessary might not be absolutely necessary. I don't really know, because I think it's gonna take experience to actually like confirm what this checklist needs to look like for me personally. So we're starting with the absolutely necessary checklist. This is in no particular order. It's not ordered. I don't really know what I'll do first. Some of this will be like an ongoing process. For example, covers. It's not like I'm just gonna one day get the cover and that's it. Obviously it's an ongoing process, so I didn't really like order them in any particular way. The first is covers. So cover for ebook and for the physical copy. I might do the cover myself. I have designed book covers in the past just for fun. I also have some experience in like digital illustration and art and like design software. It would be a big task for me, I think, but I don't think it's something that's necessarily like out of my skill set, if that makes sense. So like for this, I will need to do some market research. That's one thing that obviously I can do market research, but I haven't done market research, like active market research on what I want the book cover to look like. And this is like just style. Like it's not gonna be exactly the same as other covers, obviously. It's kind of just like seeing, the artistic creative styles that are popular. I actually do have like a running folder in my bookmarks bar already of like artists on Instagram and stuff that I've found that do book covers. So if I choose to hire an artist, I've looked at those ones and they're like anywhere from $200 to $600 for a book cover, but I love their styles. So I do have a running list of potential people if I end up not wanting to do it myself, but I think I'm gonna like give it a shot first and see if I absolutely hate it and then hire someone else. But yeah, those are just options. Okay, I'm talking about the cover a lot. So then I will need to do a cover reveal at some point. So that includes like adding it to any websites where it needs to be, things like Goodreads, my personal author website, newsletter subscribers from my website, like Patreon members, and then basically socials. So I don't know what that's gonna look like yet. If that's gonna be like me trying to kind of recruit people to share the cover, or if I'm just gonna do it myself, I don't really know yet, but I know that I'm gonna need to reveal it. And that I would like to make a semi-big deal of it because I think that's really exciting. I will need proof copies for advertising and making sure the cover looks good. I'm gonna need to do interior formatting. So with the poetry collection, I used Microsoft Word. I pay for the Microsoft Office anyways, so I feel like why not continue using Word? I know that a lot of people suggest Vellum. I, however, don't have an Apple computer and I need to double check. I'm pretty sure it's for Apple. And Word has like a plethora of book formatting options, and you can do entirely custom formatting within Word anyways. So I feel good about using Word. Feel like I may as well. I already have it. I'm also deciding if I want to do like special chapter headers in Word with the formatting. I don't know. We'll see. I might do that. I might do a version with that and get a proof copy and see how it looks because I've never done that before. So we'll see. Okay, this task is a big one. I feel like I should probably split it into multiple like smaller tasks, but it's basically just research all of the distribution platforms. So KDP, Ingram Spark, which will be new for me, Kindle Unlimited, which will be new for me. And then below that, I also have reach out to indie bookstores, local businesses, libraries. I don't know how any of that works. I think it's difficult for indie authors to do that themselves because normally the publisher handles that, but I want to try, you know? I want to explore that and kind of like see what the options are there. So I guess like technically reaching out to indie bookstores and local places can be potential but not necessary because I feel like that's not actually like completely necessary. So I'm going to move that to the potentially necessary section. Researching online distributors, I'm still considering to be absolutely necessary because that is the main way that my book is going to be distributed once it's self-published. So, okay, everything arcs. I have no idea how that works. I didn't really do ARCs for the poetry collection. That was not something that I planned for. I kind of just released it into the world and I was like, a book, you know? So I need to look into ARCs, how to load them, how to find people, how to use the platforms that distribute ARCs, and I just need to do more research into that. Pre-orders, I also need to do more research into pre-orders. I did them for the poetry collection for the ebook only, and I think it went well, but I would like to do that again. Like, I'm gonna do pre-orders for Between the Waves, but I kind of want to make it special. I don't know how yet, especially because technically if you pre-order through Amazon, I am not the one preparing that order and distributing it, it's Amazon. But I don't know if I can maybe do something special, like, I don't know, some sort of like bonus content for people who pre-order. I don't even know if I have access to pre-order information. I did with the poetry collection, so maybe I can do that. Maybe I can send like bonus content or something. So I just need to like do some planning and brainstorming around pre-orders. I don't know how to set up pre-orders on like other platforms. I've used KDP for the poetry, but I don't know how to do it with like other distributors. Marketing, also all encompassing. The marketing is going to be a lot of work. Content for socials, newsletter, website, ads. I probably won't run paid ads. I have experience running paid ads. I work in marketing, but I don't know if I want to do them, but it's an option. Maybe influencers, other people in like the bookish space. And then beyond that, kind of just like general keyword SEO stuff for my website, as well as Amazon ads, which I think I mentioned somewhere. Yeah, I put learn about optimization on Amazon because I actually don't really know how that works. So yeah, I also made a note for myself that says marketing's an ongoing process. And I again gave myself a reminder that like while I'm working on the book, if anything like pops into my mind or I'm editing something that I think would be a really good like piece or snippet to use for marketing, then maybe I should like make a note of it at least. I don't know. I think I'm just trying to like avoid having to collect all of the marketing content all at once because I know I'm already going to be overwhelmed. Then of course I want to do a content and marketing plan for release week or release month or like the 2 months prior. I actually don't know how long I'm gonna like prep the plan, like the marketing plan for. I don't really know like when people announce their books. Like some authors, you know the release date a year in advance. Others, they tell you like 2 months in advance. I don't think there is a timeline for that, but I would like to make a plan that's at least like 2 months out. And then I would obviously make use of like social media platforms, my Patreon, my newsletter, anything else that I can think of. And then the last thing is basically upload the final file to distributors and verify that the file is good. This is part of like uploading the file to something like KDP and then getting a proof copy to make sure that everything fits and everything looks good and the formatting is good and the cover fits properly and the spine is the right size and basically all of those things. So yeah, I feel like those are all of the things that I think are absolutely necessary for this whole process. If any of you have thoughts or like other things that you think I should add that I'm missing in the checklist, by all means let me know. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, and you don't know what you don't know until you do it and realize that you don't know, you know? So then for the potential but not necessary section, there's only a few things in here because, I don't know, they're kind of just like fun extras, I guess, that I could do for the book. There's a possibility that I don't do any of these because it's my first official like full-length novel and I might be overwhelmed and I might want to just try to keep it as simple as possible, but I thought they might be fun. So the first thing is to find people to help with cover reveals. So again, like if there's, I don't know, anyone local who is interested in that or other people on like Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or social media platforms or whatever, maybe like swapping newsletters with other authors. I don't know. I think the main takeaway from this is that you need to know that I don't know. I also put that I want to try and get author blurbs, which is something that you see often in traditional publishing. Like there's a blurb on the front of the book from other established published authors. Again, this is generally something that traditionally published authors get. I don't know if self-published authors do it, but I kind of want to try. Like maybe I could try to get a quote from other self-published authors that I really enjoy and whose work I really love, or I could try to get one from a traditionally published author whose work I really love, but I don't know how that works. And I made a note of it. I do have a feeling that like there's a chance I would reach out to someone's agent or manager or something and they'd be like, no, who are you? Because I'm not established. So yeah, I don't know how you actually do that. Like, I don't know if you send the book along with like a request for a quote or if you send the book and you're like, if you feel like it, I don't know. I don't know how it works. Character art, potential but not necessary. Just think it would be cool. I put signed copies. I don't know. I don't know how to manage that. I don't know. I feel weird about signing things. Does that make sense? So that's a potential thing, but I know that there would be a lot more overhead for me to do that because I would have to order the copies, sign them, and then do all of like the packaging and shipping myself and like the sales myself. So I don't know, might look into that, but maybe that'll be like a later release thing to do. Like something that once I have experience in publishing, then I can try to do like extra stuff like that. I also put how to get reviews to start. So like, I mean, ARCs would be a way to do this. I guess from friends, I don't know. I think ARCs is the main way. So that's kind of included above as well, I think. I need to look into that because I don't know how it works. And then I also put that I want to like reach out to indie bookstores, local businesses, and libraries. We have some like indie bookstores in the city here and like down in Vancouver and stuff that I think would be very open to like stocking an indie author. There's a couple local businesses around here as well that I am meaning to reach out to for my poetry collection because I've seen them actually sell like other local authors' poetry collections. So I'm like, okay, there's like potential there. So that's something that I kind of want to explore and see what the options are for that. That's it, actually. It seems kind of short, but there's so much stuff on here, and like I mentioned, I think I'll probably add to this. I again want to make it very clear that I've never published a full-length novel before. I really don't know what goes into this. I have found many resources online that have been wildly helpful. I've been subscribed to Katie Wismer's Patreon for a long time, and she has a lot of like self-publishing information on there that has been wildly helpful, so like I would recommend that to anyone. And she has just like videos on her YouTube channel that are free explaining like the process of self-publishing, so I would say I've actually learned a lot from her. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm excited. It's nice to see it all in one spot. Something that I'm also doing is regularly like doing research around the items on this checklist and what I might be missing, or doing market research as far as covers go, like I mentioned. I'm trying to like do a little bit of research every day or every few days into the industry and the more like business side of it, just so that I can understand things a bit better, because it's not going to work for me to try and do it all at once. I need to start doing these things now so that I'm better prepared for when I do publish my first novel. So yeah, again, if there's anything that you want to add or you think I missed or you have like questions about for the checklist, please let me know in the comments. I'm sure we'll get an updated video of this checklist in a couple months when I like have learned more and have a better understanding of like what I might be missing or what I need to change. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. I hope it kind of like got you thinking about stuff you might need before you self-publish. Thank you so much for watching the video and sticking around, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.